Hello. All right, this video is going to be the short version of what's called the red pine meditation. It's progressive relaxation. So I'm going to go through the body. I'm going to take a few seconds to kind of set the breath. We're going to go through the body and just relax and open up those places that I call out. The things we want to look for are things that are like tense, or if there's like a pressure or tension, as well as something that's felt like maybe it's being held on to strongly, or something that doesn't just feel right. We just want to relax. So, and you can use any number of sort of visualizations if that helps. So you can use untying knots, a little candle flame, just a white light, ice melting. There's a lot of things that you can use to sort of help those areas just kind of open up. And anyway, so here's Shinigami, and he's being a crazy little monkey right now. So we're gonna have him right here because he's being crazy. And there's Luna Aria in the back. Say hi to Luna Aria. She's being crazy little monkey too, because that's what they do. Okay. So one of the things I also want to point out is we are not going to tense something up in order to relax it. I find that is garbage because all you're doing is teaching yourself to tense. You're not teaching yourself to relax and relax through any sort of tension or compression or pressure or something wrong or something being held on to. You're teaching your body to basically just be kind of that it is right here and now. You're not teaching it to relax. You're not helping it relax. But then you're also programming that the idea of, in order to relax, I have to tense up first. So it's double trouble. I hate it. I've heard people do it even in therapeutic contexts before. I don't agree with it at all. It's counterintuitive to me. Logically, it's counterintuitive to me, the person who's been training in internal martial arts for over 20 years. So we're not going to do that. So you're going to get as relaxed as you can. Now, one of the things that I want here is sit up straight. You can use this for lying down. I use this to help me sleep a lot. But I'll use this if I'm trying to go to sleep, not if I'm just trying to relax and meditate. This helps me with my anxiety panic attacks. It helps me recognize if I'm having some sort of manic break. It helps me even if I'm having some sort of depression episode. Or if I just start getting to not even necessarily anxiety or panic, but just start getting to just sort of into something. It helps me just kind of tick, 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 close, open stuff up, relax things down, get to kind of, back to sort of more functional. So while we're doing this just to be more functional and meditate and relax or anything like that, this is completely non-denominational. I'm not selling any sort of, you got to be Taoist or Buddhist or I'm not selling any of that stuff. This is completely, can be tied into anything and everything you want to do, even complete and utter secular materialist reductionism. Any of this stuff can work. This can work for any of that. But sit up straight. One of the things we want to do is help kind of take the stress off of the nervous system. So kind of slumping in there or leaning on something or kind of or any of this other stuff or lying down in some way other than pretty much just nice and straight on your back is going to put stress on the nervous system, and that is opposite of what we want to do. So we want to sit up straight. So that means we're going to pull our head like it's being, like the top of the head has a hook and there's a string being pulled up. We want to keep the chin in. So we're not lifting our head like this, we're lifting our head like this. So this is raising the head and, opening up some of the space between the cervical vertebrae. Keep the tongue like you're going la, let, right behind the teeth at the roof of the mouth. Now we're going to try and keep the shoulders and the hips straight in line, as well as the crown of the head, the very top of the head, and the perineum, the very lowest point of the torso. All that nice in line. There's the true center line of the body called the hara line. Almost like if your head and your hips were tires, the main axle, if you tip a car on its side, there's that axle that runs between them. The hara line is that main axle between those two tires, basically. So we keep that nice and straight. I might look a little crooked here because I'm trying to keep Shin from going nuts. So I'm sitting on my cushion right now. I'm cross-legged. I can't do full or even half lotus. I just can't do it. My knees and hips, my barbarian tendons don't allow for that. So I'm Burmese style, so one leg's kind of in front of each other. You can do certain kneeling things like that. Or if you sit up in a chair, you want to kind of choke up closer to the end of the chair. So that way there isn't leaning. You can keep the shoulders and hips and everything lined up. Lie down. Come here. Come here. There you go. That's better. That's a good boy. Where's your good puppy? So, we want that. I usually close my eyes for this. Some of like the other meditations I do, they kind of want you to keep your eyes open. My eyes are super dry and I have allergies, so keeping my eyes open is not really that great of an idea. So we're going to breathe from the lower belly, that dantian we've talked about in other videos, so 2 inches below the navel and inside the body. We're going to take a couple times to breathe in and kind of inflate that lower abdomen area. Exhale and let it release. So I'm going to breathe in and let it release. Now we want the breathing to be even. So if we breathe in for 1, 2, 3, we want to exhale for 1, 2, 3. And we want to eliminate the movement in the chest, isolate just the lower abdomen. I'm going to breathe in and breathe out. A couple more. Breathe in and breathe out. Now again, this is going to be the kind of short version, so there's a little bit more comprehensive things we can call out for this. This is just sort of a check through the body, get everything nice to open up and relax. If you want to get more specific in the areas that I call out and more things, I might have another video, might be in a different playlist of it more fully, or you can explore those things literally in and of yourself. Right now, we're just going to relax and release the very top of the head. So again, whatever sort of images you like to use, or if you want to use maybe even sound, you can just kind of think of that area vibrating and you're being a monkey. Something like that. Or if you're just even, it's kind of nice to just be able to just tell it to release. Some people that works for us, just that crown of the head, open, release. So we'll give a breath or two for each area. Some areas I'm going to give a couple breaths too, because those generally tend to be places that hold a lot more tension. So especially when we get through the neck, the trapezius muscles, rhomboids, levator scapular, so the upper and sort of middle back. We're going to do a couple extra seconds there, as well as the lower back, just because those areas tend to have a lot of tension. Maybe in through the deltoids and shoulders as well. First, before that, we're going to go from the crown of the head and come down to between the eyebrows, the infamous third eye, but between the eyebrows. It's also part of the sinus cavity above the eyes, so that might even help around the eye. When we get into the eyes and some other places, some of that area might happen. As a side note as well, as we go from the sort of third eye to inside the eyes, some of those sinus cavities might open up and drain a little bit. That's fine, that's good, that's getting that stuff out. You might also have some places, if you relieve tension, where now you might feel other things. For example, you might feel heat. That's good, that's energy moving. You might feel something cold. And if it feels sort of like those gum commercials where like the mint's very fresh and moving and everything, that's good too. That means something that got blocked got open. And in traditional Chinese medicine, especially, sickness and illness and dis-ease and injury and things come from things being blocked. So that's a good thing. We're going to go from inside our eyes to inside our ear canals, not the actual cartilage, but in the ear. Other things you might feel, something might kind of hurt at first and then kind of release. You might also have things open up emotionally. You might, some people might start crying. Some people might start laughing. Things of those are perfectly fine. Those are perfectly cool and good. Those are, again, things being opened up, things being released. This is good. Just let it happen. Don't fight it. There's no ego with it. There's no macho garbage with it. There's none of this sort of Western shame we have at showing emotion. Enjoy it. Let it happen. It's a good experience. Let it do its thing. It's you are healing yourself and releasing things that need to be released. It's a good thing. Let it happen. From the ears, we're going to go to the temples, sides of the head here. Both sides. So again, we went from the third eye to the eyes to the ears and the temples. So we kind of split. So we're still split in with the temples. Remember to breathe nice and easy. And as we open up those kind of sides of the skull and the head with the temples, as we exhale, we want to bring that down the jawline. So both sides, we're going to split and come down the jawline. So relax that area as we go, sort of like warm water washing down you when you're cold. It kind of warms up as you go through the body, meets at the chin, and then comes into just under the lip. So this little, is it the labret piercing, if I remember correctly? If you got this part pierced, it's the labret. So just between the little whoop on the chin and the lip. So as we do that, let the whole rest of the face just kind of as well. So we have the top of the head, we have the sides of the head, we have the face, all nice and relaxed. We're going to go from there, we're going to go into and the very top of the roof of the mouth, very middle of it. So from there, we're going to almost swallow it. So from the roof of the mouth, we're going to kind of come down the throat here, just the front part of the throat. And right here, these are your collarbones or clavicles. And right here is the jugular notch, that sort of hollow where those meet, the bottom of the throat. We're going to go to there. You don't have to do anything fancy with your hands. If you know any of the hand holds and mudras, you can hold that. You can just have it resting on your knees or your lap or holding that lower abdomen, that dantian area, the lower dantian area, just to kind of help focus it. So from the jugular notch, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the back of the head. There's that spot, these two little bones, right where the spine, the cervical spine, meets into the skull, like the gates for that. So we're going to go specifically there and let that whole back of the head and very top of the neck where it connects in, let all that area nice and relaxed. Some of these areas we're going to hold a couple of breaths. And from here, we're going to walk down again the cervical vertebrae, the neck bones, spine and the neck. And we're going to imagine almost walking down it like we're stepping down. So you can imagine there's just different bones and the discs in between. And just kind of boop, 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 boop. Coming down, stepping down, stepping down, stepping down. There's that little bone that kind of protrudes back there a little bit, just at the very bottom. Cervical notch. Just going to hold there for a moment. And these here are the trapezius. And it kind of swings down. If this, my chest was my back, it kind of swings down and works down a little bit. So as we split from back here and go to the shoulders, we're also going to go kind of like this little apron area back here too. But we're going to split and go into the shoulders. And as we relax through the traps and into the deltoids, there's three parts: anterior, median, posterior. We're going to get all this area and down in here to relax. And what we want to do is we want to focus through that and go into the actual joint. It's ball and socket joint. We're going to relax that little area and focus in on that joint. We're going to take a couple breaths here again. A lot of tension usually gets stored in through here. Now the arms and the legs are going to mirror each other. So remember how we work the arms, because that's how we're going to work the legs. Again, this is the shorter version. It's going to be less comprehensive. So what we're going to do is we're going to go from the shoulder joint down the humerus bone. So this arm part of the bone here. We're going to relax the bicep on the top, triceps on the back as we go. And we're going to go and we're going to rest into the elbow. So into the very joint itself again. Just let it relax. And from the elbow, the radius and the ulna are the bones in the forearm. We're going to run down then and go into the wrist. So from the wrist, we're going to go right into the center of the hands. Now we're going to go out through each finger in the same thing. So the base knuckle, the middle, and then out through the top. Base knuckle, middle, out through the top. We'll start with the thumbs. Readjust my cushion. And then we're at the base, we'll go to the middle and out through the top. Index, pointer finger, base, middle, top. Okay, we'll go to the second finger, same thing, base, middle, and top. ring finger, base, middle, and top. This is both hands, both arms, both hands at the same time. And out, relax the ring fingers, and then the little fingers, the pinkies, base. Go through the middle and out the top. So that's the arms and the hands. And go back up to the jugular notch here, the bottom of the throat. I'm going to come down the sternum, the breastbone, center of the chest. Come down the sternum to where the ribs meet here. So the cage of the ribs will meet up here, and that's where we want to go. Relaxing the chest as we go. It's a pectoralis major here. We're going to relax that. And from there, so the rectus abdominis, the obliques, all this other stuff in through the gut is sort of softy stuff anyway. It really shouldn't have that much of a problem unless you're me and you actually have pulled that before. What we want to do is we're going to run and follow the frame of the ribs down past the obliques, around the sides, and back up the back. So we're going to be coming down, so we're going to be relaxing the latissimus dorsi, that sort of wing muscle back there. As we come up, got the rhomboids in between there, killer place to relax. Levator scapular on the either side of the scapula or shoulder blades. So we're going to relax all that. Now this is definitely a place we're going to take maybe 3-4 breaths, because there's a ton of stuff that gets locked in through here all the time. So we're going to just take some nice deep breaths. Again, whatever you're using to help you relax. Just telling it to relax. If you can do that, kudos. Knots untying, ice melting, candlelight, balls of light, whatever you're using to help that relax. Really bring it to the forefront here. After this meditation, there might be places that feel sore. This is also a good thing, because that means you released tension from that. Your body might be used to just holding on to that, and now it's relaxed. So it's almost like you've been trying to work out something consistently, and now you're relaxing, you're letting it heal. Some of this might be uncomfortable, but keep going through it. You might have to readjust how you sit a little bit as things relax to try and keep straight. This is fine. Again, there's no competition for this. There's no judgment with this either. It just is what it is. You do the best you can. Keep going. Keep letting things relax. You breathe correctly. You get those areas to relax. You will have benefits from it. And as time goes on, again, we're using this time to breathe and relax that center back area. As time goes on, you start feeling more connections into the body. You start feeling where tension is, so you get rid of it before it builds in. And you also start noticing how your emotions affect your body and your thoughts affect your body, and vice versa, which means now you can start controlling and getting rid of impulses better. You can start understanding manic feelings, depressive feelings, stressful, anxietal feelings. You can feel all these things in a clearer sense and understand them better and help yourself to be able to manage, if not even fully control them better. So from that center of the back, we're going to go back to that little bump there at the bottom of the neck, cervical notch. And just as we walk down the neck, we're going to walk down the rest of the spine. So we have behind the chest is the thoracic, that little loop in there is the lumbar, and the tailbone and the last couple above that are the sacral. So we're just going to go boom, 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 down the spine. If memory serves, I think there are 24 vertebrae between each vertebra, and the one below it, or above it, is a little disc. We're going to relax in through there. It's the main part, your CNS, central nervous system, brain, spinal cord. Super important. Getting that space between, again, I'm saying this as we're going to keep going as I'm talking, getting the space between each vertebra and the disc is very important. A lot of compression happens in there. The discs start wearing down. There might be pressure on the CNS. We want to open that up and let everything flow through there. The blood, the cerebral spinal fluid, the nerves, all that stuff, we want to be able to flow unobstructedly. So we're down, I think maybe down into the lumbar area behind the gut. Down in through there, and that lumbar into sacral, that lower back area, just above the tailbone. Again, we're going to get in there for a couple of breaths. A lot of tension, again, gets stored in through there. So now we're at the very end of the spine. We'll take a moment here to relax it. Now we're going to split off into the legs, like I said, just like we did the arms. So the hips are going to be like the shoulders. So you go through the glutes and into the actual hip bone as they come into the pelvis. Now from the hips, we'll go through the femurs, so the thigh bone, the quadriceps on the top, hamstrings on the bottom, a bunch of other muscles in there too, but those are the kind of big ones. I'm going to say serratus, I think, wraps around. But we're going to basically work down the bone. And as we work through the bone marrow and down in that like a pipe, we're relaxing all the muscles as we go into the knee. As we relax through the knee. Want to go down through the shin bones, the tibia and the fibia, relaxing the calf behind it. Is it soleus and gastromachus? I always mess that one up. Of the calf, going down through those bones and into the ankles. From the ankles, we're going to relax the top of the feet. From the top of the feet around the heels. From the heels down the soles of the feet in through that sort of front pad. That ball of the foot there is under the big toe, and that pad is almost like this bit here in the arms. I'm going to go through the toes just like we did the fingers, starting with the big toe at the very base, at the sort of bendy middle knuckle, and through the top. Same thing with the second toe, base, middle, and the top, middle knuckle, or middle toe at the base, middle, through the top, fourth toe base, middle, top, and the little toe, little baby pinky toe, the base, the middle, through the top. So that's the whole body. I'll take another couple breaths here just to kind of recenter. Still blinking, my cat. Okay, so last thing we're going to do is just going to kind of do something to kind of clear stuff out. Now, there are different energy centers in the body, whether you want to call them energy centers or dantians or chakras or anything else like that, and they're actually finding neuron clusters that correlate and correspond to these areas in the bodies as well. So they say you got a gut feeling. Part of that reason is because there's a neuron cluster in there that's helping you think. Short version. But that lower dantian, that one we've been trying to focus on below the navel and into the body, lower dantian on the Chinese scale, the second chakra on with that with the traditions, there we go, that use that terminology. That not only is the actual center of our body, you take in the legs, breathing through there helps take tension and stress from storing in like the lungs and the heart or coming up into the brain manically. A lot of this becomes anxiety. This is where we get a lot of wear out and wear and tear, the cardio and pulmonary areas, as well as fatigue in with the brain. The brain is like probably the thing that uses the most of your caloric intake through the day. So wearing that out is going to wear you out as well. So breathing through here keeps everything down. But it's, from my understanding, the only of the energy centers, however many you want to talk about, that actually can store energy like a battery. The rest of them can't really store as well. Now, with a lot of this stuff going on, things will tend, and this is fine, this is good, it should be, energy might actually tend to rise. There's kind of a yin and yang aspect to it. Some people might even have that kind of kundalini thing come up through the back and open up into the head and everything too. There's the Ren and Du channels, which are the main sort of superhighway of meridians through the body that run up, the center, coming down, up the back, and around through here. So what we want to do is to kind of make sure that stuff isn't getting through the head as we go through the day. Rub the palms. Take the palms of the hand, touch the eyes. I know, don't touch your face. But here, up, over and around. Hopefully you're washing your hands, so it's not that much of a problem. And come down the jawline. We're going to do that 3 times. So that's 1, here's 2, and here's 3. And that, if there is anything that's kind of in there, it's helping kind of alleviate that. So that's this sort of short version of the red pine progressive relaxation meditation. You can adapt it however you like. It's remarkably adaptable. If you lie down flat, I use it to help me sleep. I used to have horrible sleeping problems, and it's kind of helped me retrain how to sleep. I'll just use it through my day. Sometimes, if I'm sitting in traffic or at a stoplight, just kind of run through it very quickly. Before I play my routines, I'll run through it quickly, or just through my day in different times, or I just do it just to do it sometimes. Again, it's been something that's helped me get a sort of handle on some of my own sort of mental health struggles, and I know it's helped some other people too. You can run through it more quickly and more generally if you want, or you can get very much more specific. The more sort of physiology and anatomy that you know that might help. The more you start learning a little bit like the central nervous system and about the dantians and chakras and meridians, that might help too. Um, and then there's different other spots, like with the joints. There's different ways to go on either side of the joint on one side, then you have to go on either side of the joint on the other. Elbows and knees are like that. Wrists and ankles are like that. Work the hands a little bit differently and things like that. So there you have it. I hope this helps. And I know, buddy. You want to push the button? You want to push? No, you just want scratches. You want to push the button? Push the button? No. Oh, he almost pushed the button. So I'll push the button. Thanks.